What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spread Astaire? How are you tonight?
Exciting game five tonight for us and for three other teams. Seventh series in the first round. Only one of them is at 2-2. So we'll face another round of elimination games tonight. But let's dive right into the past and talk about what you saw last night out there on the hardwood. I was expecting to have tomorrow off. I was expecting to go hiking. But the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young said no. Not only did they cover the 13 and a half, they won outright. How are you feeling about the Hawks' chances to win at home in Atlanta? Did you know a Janet Jackson concert actually had to be rescheduled? That was
Yeah,
supposed to be taking place in Atlanta tomorrow night, but they pulled the game six. Even the concert schedulers didn't expect the Celtics to be pushed this hard. So what are your thoughts?
I saw that. That was hilarious that they scheduled a concert at the same time, and then the artist is huge, is Janet Jackson too. So I'm sure that Miss Jackson's camp wasn't too thrilled about the change of arrangements. You know how these artists, I've dealt with a lot of booking and stuff in the entertainment business, and they have set tour dates, and a lot of time they're booked out. So I'm surprised she didn't have another engagement for Friday. So that's a good thing for the people who purchased tickets. As far as the game, I was on the Hawks yesterday. That was easy. It was a layup. It's one of those situations where, as we always have seen in the NBA, where you have addition by subtraction. Everyone thought because DeJounte Murray was out that the Hawks were going to be finished. And I always like their offense with DeJounte Murray or Trae Young playing actually by themselves and having shooters around them. With both Donovans coming in, it really spread the offense out. Um, it was the kiss of death the moment that it went to 81% of the public was taking the Celtics laying that amount of points anyway. So um, pretty easy one, as a matter of fact. I didn't think the Hawks would win, but I knew that they would keep the game close. Trae Young, with another massive performance in the playoffs, continues to add to his legacy.
All right, let's move on because that's not all the NBA action we had last night. The T Wolves, they fell apart, but they covered the spread. I actually thought the Nuggets were going to blow them out. One of the worst shooting performances we've seen from Nikola Jokic since he's become a star. 21 missed shots last night, and that was the difference, and that was the reason they didn't cover. Um, you've talked about it before, so this will be the last time we do this year, thank God. But poor Anthony Edwards, stuck on
Yeah,
that franchise. They completely
yeah.
screwed up the whole Rudy deal, so they have no assets to get him any better. You and I are both done with Karl Anthony Towns. You know what? I decided last night why I don't like him. I think I spend more time like working out and lifting weights than he does. And I'm in my 40s and I bet sports for a living. And he's a professional athlete. I was looking at Lauri Markkanen and how much he's gotten stronger and how much that helped his game. And then I was looking at Cat out there. He doesn't look like
Yeah,
he works out at all.
nah,
It's so disappointing to see Anthony Edwards just surrounded uh, by one-dimensional players. Rudy Gobert is a one-dimensional player. Karl Anthony Towns is a one-dimensional player. So I'm. I mean, Timberwolves, they're all done. Nuggets showed some flaws. I mean, this is probably the worst number one seed we've seen in a while.
yeah.
But what did you see out there? Were you as disappointed with the Nuggets with the T Wolves as I am?
No, because they covered the +10 that I gave out. I gave that one as a free play on Twitter because we didn't do the show yesterday. Another one, I went 3-0 on the NBA yesterday, and that one was another one where I just knew it was going to be too much public lean on there, and they dangled the number out there. And then we had our good friend Scott Foster out there making sure that he framed things the perfect way for the NBA. So he was out there doing his due diligence. But the T Wolves still have a bright future. I think last night and this series is going to help them for next year. Me and Coach Goodman were actually speaking about that on Twitter, where they found something last night. I think they can play with Rudy, Cat, and Ant because they found some ways. We're going to have to accept that Cat is just going to be a stretch four. No matter though he's 7 foot, even though he has all that size, he wants to shoot threes. and he shoots them at a high enough
But
rate
you can be a
that
stretch five. Brooke Lopez is a
yeah,
stretch five. That's what pisses
right,
me off. But look at Brooke
yeah,
Lopez.
right,
Big
right,
dude, big
right,
shoulders, big arms. He's not looking all doughy like that. I agree with you.
yeah.
He's going to be a stretch four, but I'm just saying, if he really
He,
wanted to, he could have been a stretch five.
he's
Look at
gonna
his
have to
physique.
reconstruct his. Yeah, he
Yeah,
doesn't work out. He's hanging with his IG model girlfriend and
yeah,
enjoying his money. He just hit the max deal, so they might have to restructure his deal. He might have, and I think that he has the type of personality. From what I'm seeing, it seems like he's deferring to Ant, like he's knows that Ant's the alpha
yeah.
male, and that's what I didn't think he was going to do. But since he's doing that, I think they're going to work together. I think they're going to have a big regular season next year if they can stay healthy. But the problem for Ant's going to be, as we said, the franchise. We saw the same thing with Kevin Garnett, even with all his greatness. The most that he could push the Timberwolves when he was there as a franchise was to the Western Conference Final, because, as we know, it's all about coming from the top. Certain ownerships, certain GMs, you have to have all of that in place to be successful as a franchise. That's why the same franchises have been successful over the past century, over and over and over again. So I think that Ant might find himself in a situation where he takes his team only as far as ownership allows him. So he might end up spending the end of his career somewhere else with a more, you know, better franchise and end up getting a championship, because he's that type of player. At 21, he's outstanding,
What
man.
One thing I want to
He's
say
out.
for
He's
the
a great
ownership,
player.
real quick, it's
Hmm.
not like a Donald Sterling case where they're cheap and they're not doing what it takes. They just miscalculated, right? They
Yeah,
thought Rudy was the guy to push us over the top, right? We just saw Dejounte Murray, right, go to Atlanta, right? We're seeing these moves. This is what the market's for, and they were simply wrong in that case. And it's weird
I
because
think it'll work better next year though, because
yeah,
they have
hopefully,
first year together. You saw with the game. You watched the game last night. They looked a little better on offense. With the kids can Cat make those passes. If he can make the passes from bringing out the big, if he can make accurate passes to Rudy, Rudy's going to get these switches, man, and get dunks all day long with the threat that they have when and then of course, as we know, they're missing two of their major guys. We know how big that you know, especially the kid from Washington, McDaniels, is for them on that team. He's huge,
yeah,
a
that's a good
huge piece
point.
of that.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
and
Good
the
point.
kill Walker Alexander is a great piece, and he's showing a
You,
lot of
you know what's
confidence.
so funny? That shows you how much you can't rate these draft picks. He was
Hmm.
struggling to find the floor for his first 3 seasons. I can't think of
Yep.
how many players that people write off because they don't come in and make an impact right
It's like
away at
he was
19
drafted
or
at like
20 years old.
19. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was drafted.
Now in
He
his
was so
fourth
nice at
year,
Virginia Tech. Yeah.
in his
Uh-huh.
fourth year, he's showing, hey, I can be a contributor. I wish that
And his
NIL
big
would keep those
cousin is
guys
a
in
is a
college.
star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's his cousin?
SGA, Shea Gilgis Alexander, and they're tight. That's his first cousin.
I didn't know that.
That's gonna propel him, man, because they're gonna be working out in the summers. He's gonna be trying to keep up with his cousin that he grew up with. His cousin is an all-star. He's gonna get better and better because he was a really good college player. I knew he was gonna be a good NBA player, and I'm glad with the injury now that they got a chance to put him in the game and get him some shine. But who the Timberwolves were missing this series was D'Angelo Russell, because unfortunately my guy has got a little bit long in the tooth, and Conley isn't the shot maker he was at Utah now. So that's who they were missing was D'Angelo Russell. I feel if they had him, they would have pushed those guys to 7.
Interesting, interesting. Well, almost set up for the perfect segue because you mentioned Shea Gilgis Alexander, and I was watching that series last night, right? And yesterday I had said on the thing on NBA Rundown, the Rudy Gobert trade is the worst trade in the NBA since Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, right?
Right.
It's just an opinion, right? And you could probably find some worse ones, but it's pretty bad.
The
I'm
stuff
watching
that they
last
got
night,
back for
and
him.
I'm thinking, is Paul George for Shea Gilgis Alexander going to end up there because there was no Kawhi Leonard on the court? To get Kawhi, you had to trade Shea and all those picks for Paul George, and I didn't see either of them out there last night. and I don't expect they'll ever play. I saw a tweet and I put a funny little gif or whatever where he said, "Oh, I'm ready for us," and I'm thinking, why would we ever believe you guys are going to be healthy? Why? Right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's Kawhi. This happened to Bill Walton, and I probably said it on the last show, right? It's just some players, their body's not going to get them there, and I think with Kawhi in his 30s, we're seeing that. Really too bad for the Clippers, who I like their owner. I like what he's trying to do. He's trying to win. It's not a Donald Sterling situation, but but hey, they covered. I took the Clippers too. I thought Russ would keep them close. But that Suns team is just too much. What did you see?
the Clippers are going to be bad next year. I'll see Ty Lue at the crap table a lot more in the coming months. I'll probably see him at the dice table this weekend because he lives out here in my neighborhood. Um, and now their season is over, and knowing Ty, he might just step away and walk away from that because he's not going to have any of the guys that he signed up. He signed up to coach a championship caliber team. Let's think about what the Clippers have fielded as a team since Ty Lue's been coaching. How many games? I love to see the stats on how many games during that period that Paul George and Kyrie Leonard actually played together. It couldn't have been that many, man.
I think this
They,
season of the what would it be after the series, close to 90 possible games, 38.
yeah. Oh my God.
38 out of
Like
around 90.
that's horrible. And it's not getting any better. They tried to catch guys at the end of their prime, not blossoming into their prime. And that was the problem. Leonard, I don't know how much more basketball he's going to play. He's got a lot of money. His legacy is pretty much cemented after their Toronto title. Um, you know, he has a camp that's, real tight, and they're really, really serious about him. So if he has an MCL, he might not play all next year again to sit out a whole year. Just to, they're saying he's not ready to play. Paul George has been brittle his whole career. He's had several injuries, dating back to the horrific leg injury that he had in the Olympics. And ever since then, he seemed like he gets hurt every few years because, as we know, when you have major injuries like that, even though you recover, it ends up where you're putting too much pressure on another joint or ligament in your legs. And he's been having a lot of different issues. He's a great player when he's available and healthy, but they're both getting long in the tooth. So I would not be surprised at all if the Clippers hit a reset this summer. They might just go on and just, get a bunch of
The
just
problem
shoot, just play,
is you're
let
selling
let
so
Russ run.
low. You're selling
Yeah, they're
so
gonna have
low
to
on
sell
those top
low.
guys.
When does that new arena in Inglewood open?
I don't know.
That's what's gonna determine things. If they open that new arena in 2, 3 years, they'll reset this year, suck, and try to build a winner to start the stadium. If the stadium opens like next year, they're gonna have to stick with what they got and hope that these guys go to Germany and get
They'll
some
probably stick with it at
cell
least
therapy
one
or
more
something.
year. I don't know. Like it would basically be given up. It doesn't seem like Ballmer's that type of guy. But
I wouldn't be
it's gonna be
surprised
the
if he
same
flips the
story next year.
organization.
Let's
He
go
might
ahead and
sell
just
it.
save this clip and we can use it on April 26th of 2024.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
might just sell the team. He's a smart businessman. He might
Ballmer,
build up
why
the
would he sell
equity.
the
Yeah,
team? He
he
gonna
might
keep it
build
the
up
rest
the
of his
equity some
life.
more and sell
No,
it.
he's
Yeah.
gonna do
Nah,
that the
he's
rest of his life.
nah,
He's gonna
he's
try
definitely
again. He could just
yeah,
try
he's
again and
definitely
say, "Hey, I
A
messed
Mark
up."
Cuban type of guy. Yeah, he a Mark Cuban guy.
He
He's
can say,
gonna
"I
stay.
messed up,"
Yeah.
and he'll get out of those salaries, and he'll get some other star. They're still in LA, right? I mean,
They're the Clippers, man. Some like we just were talking about
it
the
don't
T
matter.
Wolves. So
Would you rather be on the Clippers or the
they can
Timberwolves?
get who they can get whoever you want. If you got that
Edwards in
if
two
you have
seconds.
that Clippers on your jersey, you're gonna lose. You know that's just how it goes.
Someone gonna try and turn it around. It's like the Nets
Yeah,
or the Knicks, right? You turn that around, you're gonna get all the love. All right, let's move into the
yeah,
present because we have 4 fun games tonight. We both got a
yep.
lot going on. We were almost thinking not to do a show today, but the lineup's too good tonight. Let's dive right
Too
in.
good.
Knicks are plus 5.5 in Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers. Knicks are ahead 3-1. Have a chance to close it out tonight. I personally do not think they will. I think the Cavaliers bounce back tonight. You know, that Madison Square Garden is a tough place to play. We got some great performances from role players such as RJ Barrett. I mean, I don't know if he's considered a role player, but you understand my point there. 26
Yeah.
from Barrett, a guy that the fan base is down on. But as we've seen in these series, right, when the venue flips, so does the performance from all the role players. I expect you're going to get a lot more support for Garland and Mitchell tonight. I haven't bet it yet. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't think this line's going to move. I'm not in a hurry to get down, but right now I like Cavs minus 5.5. What do you think?
It sounds like the right play. The problem is the Knicks have won 6 of the last 7 matchups with the Cavs, and as we said before the series started, the Cavs just don't match up well with the Knicks. They have a lot of problems with the size of the Knicks, man. And as you see, Mitchell is really struggling. And how many times have we seen him struggle in the playoffs? Not many at all. It's not many teams. He's used to the West where they're just running, and the Knicks are playing real old school New York Knicks East Coast defense. And we know that Tibbs is probably the best X and O guy on defense in the whole league. He's been doing it for many years, going back to when the Celtics were dominating. And he has their number, man. So I'd be careful with thinking the Cavs are just going to win because they're supposed to tonight. The Knicks are one of the better road teams. They might be the best road team in the league. They were 25-18, the same record that they had at home. So it's not a big, huge advantage with them when they go home. They play pretty much the same game on the road or when they travel, which means the team is tight, and they are. Brunson is elevated as the leader. You're speaking about the bench. You forgot about Josh Hart. You know, RJ Barrett starts. Josh Hart and Toppin have been huge. Remember, you were worrying about whether Obi Toppin would even get minutes, and he's been getting more minutes now than Julius Randle, and he's been playing big. He had 8 rebounds last game, like 5 offensive, and then you know Obi Toppin
Finally,
is
man.
yeah,
I'm a big
Obi
Obi
Toppin's gonna
Toppin guy.
He's gonna be a good player. He just needs
He's a
time.
good
He's young.
player.
All
Yeah.
these guys are young, man. He's 23, 22, something like that, 24 or
Yeah, they'd
something.
be writing
You
him
know,
off
he
way too fast. I mean,
Nah,
this
Obi
ain't.
Toppin is explosive and he can shoot, man. And he can he's not afraid of the moment. You know, he lifted that Dayton program. You know, I based a lot of things from my college study on these guys too.
Yeah, I
He
loved him in
lifted that
Dayton.
Dayton. He lifted that Dayton pro. If not for COVID, Dayton would have won the Final Four that season when he was there. You know,
Yeah.
so and that's rare because you know they're really a mid-major team. They're not a powerhouse. So I think the Toppin is a really good player, but the Knicks as a whole, I would not be fading them against the Cavs. It's just a bad matchup, so I'm going to stay away from this game. Or I'm playing the Knicks. I got to read the market a little bit more. If the market shifts too much toward the Cavs, I'll give you a text and let you know, and I'll be on the Knicks.
All right, definitely do that. Yeah, like I said, I'm not running here to take the Cavs. I know my numbers are going to indicate to take the Cavs though. So what I do like about the playoffs though, when they put these lines up, don't need to rush to bet them. In the regular season, there's a lot less of us that grind these out, and those edges disappear quick. Hey, in
Yep.
playoffs, I can take my time. You know, very rarely do you miss your number. It usually moves off news more than the market. They do a good job of putting the lines up where
Yeah.
both sides get money. The
Yep.
Lakers have a chance to end the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. The Grizzlies, who weren't worried about anyone in the Western Conference if you asked them around March. You think they're worried now, 5-star?
Oh man, do you? Hey, someone said the funniest tweet. They said this is the problem with having beautiful women as the reporter when these guys are talking. Because John Morant was talking to the pretty girl from ESPN and just was feeling himself on that interview and got a little loose lipped and put them right inside the eye of the West, where everybody just wanted to beat these little kids now. Instead of them being the lovable guys, he turned them into the villains with that statement. And it's kind of went on all year. And I was laughing because Ski used to always say that Ja talked all that mess and got to go to war with Dylan Brooks. You know what I'm saying? So it's his second best player, you know. So Memphis, they're another one. It seems like they should cakewalk tonight and run it up, but man, they are missing 2 individuals. They're missing their kid off the bench. What's his name? Brandon from the kid is from Gonzaga.
Brandon Clark.
Brandon Clark, and they're missing Steven Adams. Those guys are energy. they're on the offensive glass and give Memphis has never been a really good shooting team. They beat you with transition and defense, but they always create second opportunities for them. And those offensive rebounds always ended up with it ended up to a Desmond Bain open 3-pointer. You know what I mean? And break your heart, or a putback by Steven Adams, or a putback by Brandon Clark. And now they do not have those second chance opportunities, and they're not that good of a shooting team. So they should be very careful tonight. We don't know if we get LeBron, focus LeBron, let's end this series, LeBron. We can chunk the deuce to him, because that Lakers team, as I told you, is the most um, properly put together team. It's amazing how they went from being the worst put together team when Russ was there to now probably the best roster and the best seven that works together correctly and fits each other correctly in the whole playoffs, man. So that 25-1 ticket I got is looking great. I can start hedging, so I hope they win tonight. So I'll be watching, hoping that the Lakers win. I got a couple plays on some uh, player props on this game. But as far as in the side, I'll stay out and jump in the live. But I'm hoping the Lakers finish them tonight.
Yeah, I would argue Phoenix still a little better than the Lakers because I don't care about depth, but we'll see how that turns out, as they most likely could
You
be
gotta
playing
care
really
about
well.
depth. The Warriors won back-to-back championships off depth. You gotta care about depth.
I guess. I'm just saying, if I'm Monty Williams and I just got to figure out how to navigate 3 or 4 minutes without those guys on the floor, I would rather be doing that with the best
Phoenix
starting
does
five.
not want to play the Lakers.
If I the Lakers, I wouldn't want to play Phoenix. I
Phoenix
don't
don't
think
want to
they're
play
going
the
to have
Lakers.
any answers for Devin Booker. He's been looking good, man.
Yeah, he
I'm
looks
really
good.
impressed with him and the maturity that he's made. All right, the Heat are plus 12. Come on, man. I mean, I haven't bet it yet because it keeps going towards me, but I mean, there's no way. Plus 12? This line's like 5 points wrong. Is there a reason
Yeah,
why I shouldn't bet Miami right now? I mean, I didn't bet it yesterday, but only because they keep taking money. Or
it's
the Bucks
I.
keep
don't-
taking money.
This is another one. This is an inflated number. I know the Bucks are going to come out really enthused and playing well. But as I've told you all year, you were higher on the Bucks than me. I always told you that. The thing I didn't like about the Bucks is that they were kind of old and they were unathletic on the wings. Besides Drew Holiday, they don't have a lot of athleticism. Just a bunch of guys who come in and shoot threes. So Giannis and Brook Lopez clean up a lot of those guys' miss by being erasers on the board to stop guys at the cup and stuff like that. So they are not effective as much affected as much by when guys come in who can't really stay in front of people. Um, with that said, you're dealing with Eric Spoelstra, who's a very smart coach and knows how to find your weakness and exploit it. So, as you said, 12's a lot of points, but Jimmy Butler, man, is ridiculous right now. That game that he uh, had the other day was special. It's I tweeted that's why he has those Michelob commercials. When you turn on, you always see Jimmy Butler on these commercials. That's why games like that is why he's has these national spots, man, because he's a big time player and he plays his best when it matters the most. And I just think Miami's a really proud organization. And honestly, man, I think the Bucks are going home, man. I think that 3-1 is going to be too much for them to overcome. I can't see them beating Miami three
They're
straight
not going
games.
home tonight, though.
Tonight they may not, but soon before the series is over with, they're going home.
I think
When they
Milwaukee's
go,
going by like 7. That's
maybe,
that's what my numbers have it at. I just think 12
maybe,
is way too much.
maybe, yeah, maybe. I just think that the Heat are playing really
Tyler's
well.
concern is that they just pack it in. I just don't think that happens.
Who the
Um,
Bucks?
no, the Heat, because I was like, why should I not take the plus 11 right now? And he said, well, maybe they get behind and they just rest all their guys. If they're down by 10
No,
going into
Spoelstra
40.
will do that. No,
You
Spoelstra
think
will
he
do that.
will?
Yeah, in the fourth quarter he
So
will.
what's the verdict? Do I take this plus 12? I mean, it's just so tasty. I can't
It's
believe
so tasty. It's just dangling out there. And we know that in all professional sports, whether it's NBA or NFL, double digits, if you take double digits long term points, you're going to always win long
yeah.
term. So Like last night, we saw 3 games with double digits. Did anybody cover? No one covered. So
Oh no, no favorite covered. Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah,
absolutely
it's
right.
gonna be hard for them to cover that 12 against
Yeah.
Miami.
All
Miami's a
right.
really prideful good team, man.
Polstra, don't give up too early. All right, let's talk about the most exciting series we've had in the first round. The only one
Yes,
tied 2-2.
yes,
And we're
yes.
hosting the Warriors tonight. Here's why I haven't bet this game. I don't know how Fox is going to play with this finger. And I think that he is key to everything. This is a terrible matchup for Sabonis. These guys joke around who's the better player, right? Fox will call Sabonis the best player. Sabonis will call Fox the best player on the team. But in this series, it's Fox. Now, in a different
Yeah,
matchup, right, Sabonis might fare a little better, right?
right.
In a matchup like, say, maybe with the Nuggets, right?
Yeah,
or the Grizzlies. Sabonis is going to be huge, especially, hey, I can get Jerry Jackson in foul trouble, right? Looking ahead. Even the Lakers, Sabonis has had some huge performances. The Warriors really know how to shut him down. If Fox isn't 100%, we're losing in 6. That's my idea here. But I don't know how he's playing. That's why I haven't bet this game. The Warriors -1.5 was as high as -4 until Fox announced he would play.
okay, so this is what I'm taking from this game. One, when was Fox hurt?
In game 4,
Right, but what period?
fourth
Fourth
period.
quarter,
Yep,
fourth
fourth
quarter,
quarter.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Late in the game.
Exactly.
So we'll never know how he's gonna be affected because day off, a little swelling, I'm sure they're gonna, give him all types of treatment to get him ready. He's a gamer. Is it on his shooting hand?
Yes.
It's on his left hand. It's not
Yeah.
good.
Because he said it
It's
was
not.
affecting the way that he said as a shooter, you feel it roll off your finger. And that's one thing that he's not liking about wearing the splint. Is he said he doesn't have a good feel or touch on his
Yeah,
shots.
because he gets a lot of rotation on his shots. He doesn't shoot from the palm. He shoots from the fingertips and rolls it off when he shoots that little pull up, which is his most effective shot. That little pull up jumper that's been money for him since Kentucky. Um, Mike Brown. Mike Brown is going to have those guys ready to play tonight. Um, it's just going to be a good game, man. I don't have much to say, but I'm enjoying it. I know tonight I'll let Ian, my 9-year-old, he's going to stay up a little later. He usually goes to bed at 9. He'll get to 9:30, 9:45 to get a chance to finish it because you're going to have one Sacramento Kings fan with you in the house yelling and screaming the whole game because he hates he hates Draymond Green and the Warriors. So I know my son will be up rooting with you for the Kings. But as far as in the game analyst, this is one of those ones that's a toss up. That's why the line's so close. We don't know really how it's going to go because we know the Warriors are a terrible road team, the worst in the NBA. But we know that they're also champions, and this is a very important game. And we'll just out. It all depends on Fox, man. Fox is the key. So we'll see how Fox looks. What does the Fox say? We'll see tonight.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like a plan. Let's move on to the ball and parlay. What do you got for us?
Well, we got a all player props tonight. I'm gonna go with the props, man. The games are difficult to call tonight, so we're gonna take some layups on these player props. Mitchell Robinson over 1.5 blocks -140. I feel like that's a give me. He's been rock solid. He's the anchor of the New York Knicks defense. He's went over this number the last 3 games. He missed a game because of DNP, and then before that he had like 7 blocks, 2 straight games. So his job is to rebound and block. So I think Mitchell Robinson definitely gets over 1.5 blocks tonight, so that's going to be one. I'm going also with David Roddy, 2 reserves for Memphis Grizzlies. David Roddy first at over 5.5 points. As we always talk about the others, the reserves play better at home. Roddy's been the first guy off the bench for Memphis lately. He's been averaging about 20 minutes per contest, and he's getting his shots up. When he's in there, he's getting 8 to 10 shots up every game. With his big round body, he should be able to get fouled a couple times, hit a three or so, and there you go. He got over the 5.5 points. So we're going to go with David Roddy over 5.5. The other Grizzlies bench player I like is Luke Kennard. His minutes have been cut because Roddy is cut into his minutes. But when Kennard comes in, his sole purpose is to shoot the three. We know that the Grizzlies need offense. They need offense to beat the Lakers. Luke Kennard, all he does is shoot threes. He's a hired gun. and he was the best 3-point shooter in the whole NBA tonight. So I think that they're giving us a layup with the 1.5 3-pointers at -125 because as long as he gets up 3 or 4 3-pointers, I think he can make two. And then lastly, we're gonna go with Giannis with over point 0.5 blocks, which is a ridiculous number because I would think it would be 1.5. I guess it's because of the injury. We know this is a big game, and we know that Giannis hangs his hat on defense. A lot of people don't understand that what Giannis really does and brings to the Bucks. Besides, when he's got the ball running over people, running down the court, dunking on people, is the defensive tone that he sets. Him and Brook Lopez. I think that he gets at least one block tonight. I would not be surprised if he has over 2 blocks. So if you can find that prop and maybe get 2.5 blocks, I think it pays like plus 300. But the over point 0.5 blocks, meaning he only has to get one block, is only -170. So we're gonna jump all over that. So my plays tonight are Mitchell Robinson over 1.5 blocks in the Knicks and Cavs game. David Roddy over 5.5 points in the Memphis and LA game. Luke Kennard over 1.5 3-pointers in that same game. And lastly, Giannis to go over point 0.5 blocks at -170 against the Heat.
All right, I'm going to go. We just talked about the Heat. That plus 12 is too much. Give me the points in an elimination game. I got the Heat plus 12. So there you have it. We're going to get this up and have a good night of basketball tonight. Thought we were going to have tomorrow off, but the Hawks said not so fast. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Yep, and we got ski coming on Friday. So I look forward to that. And I'm waiting to hear back from Coach Goodman. I think we're going to try to get him in here sometime this week, if not next week. We always like to hear his knowledge. Hey, one of the biggest games in Sacramento going down for my guy. We'll be at the household rooting for you tonight. Spread anything for the people before we get out of here?
Nope, let's do it tonight. Go Kings.
All right, man. Let's get it. Hey, man, we really appreciate you guys tuning into the Wagering World. Best of luck to y'all. We'll talk to you tomorrow.